Alright, let's dive into a story that's equal parts frustrating and eye-opening. Imagine this, you're a worker who's been illegally sacked during a global pandemic, and 6 years later, you're still waiting for your compensation. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening to 1,820 Qantas workers, and a judge has finally had enough. But here's the kicker, this isn't just about money. It's about justice, fairness, and the human cost of corporate recklessness. Let's break it down. First off, what makes this really interesting is the sheer scale of the delay. We're talking $35 million in payouts, and yet, the process has been so bogged down that it's now 2026, and people are still waiting. Personally, I think this highlights a massive failure in the system. How is it possible that workers who were illegally let go during one of the most stressful periods in recent history are still fighting for what's owed to them? It's not just about the money, it's about the mental health impacts, the relationship breakdowns, and the years of uncertainty these people have endured. Justice Michael Lee called it out perfectly when he said, "It has gone on for too long." And honestly, that's an understatement. Now, let's talk about the judge's decision to reorganize the payments based on tenure. On the surface, it seems fair, workers who've been with the company longer get a larger share. But here's where it gets tricky. A detail I find fascinating is the judge's reasoning. He compared a worker in their 60s with no job prospects to a younger worker in their 30s who might have an easier time finding work. From my perspective, this raises a deeper question: should compensation in cases like this be purely about tenure, or should it also account for the long-term impact on different age groups? It's a nuanced issue, and I'm not sure there's a one-size-fits-all answer. But what this really suggests is that the system needs to be more flexible and empathetic. What many people don't realize is how convoluted the process has been. Initially, payments were supposed to be calculated based on economic and non-economic losses. Non-economic losses? That's where things got messy. Workers had to fill out questionnaires, attend medical exams, and then, get this, almost half of the reports were flagged as insufficient. So, the administrator decided to redo the exams. Here's where I have to ask, why wasn't this caught earlier? Justice Lee criticized the lawyers for not seeking court direction sooner, and honestly, I'm with him on this. It feels like a classic case of bureaucracy getting in the way of justice. If you take a step back and think about it, this delay isn't just an administrative issue, it's a moral one. One thing that immediately stands out is the worker who appeared in court to argue for equal distribution of the remaining funds. He said, "This was going to be my career, and it hit me hard." This wasn't just a job for these people, it was their livelihood, their future. And yet, they've been left in limbo for years. Personally, I think his proposal to split the money equally has merit. Yes, tenure matters, but so does the principle of fairness. What this really suggests is that sometimes, the simplest solution is the most just. Finally, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This case is a landmark one, the largest employer penalty in Australian corporate history. But here's the thing, it's not just about Qantas or Australia. This story is a wake-up call for how corporations treat their workers, especially in times of crisis. In my opinion, it's a reminder that the law needs to move faster, and companies need to be held accountable more swiftly. Because when justice is delayed, it's not just the workers who suffer, it's society as a whole. So, here's my closing thought: what does this case say about our priorities as a society? Are we willing to let corporations drag their feet while workers suffer, or will we demand a system that puts people first? It's a question worth asking, and honestly, I don't have the answer. But what I do know is that stories like this shouldn't be forgotten. They are a reminder that justice isn't just about the law, it's about humanity. And that's something we all need to think about.